Yeah, the question is, how can we say that out of nothing, nothing comes if we don't have any examples of nothing? Now, I think what we need to keep in mind here is that by nothing, we don't mean something. It's not as though there was a state of nothingness prior to the origin of the universe and the universe popped into being in that state. We mean that the beginning of the universe was not preceded by anything. So to say that the universe came into being out of nothing is simply to say the universe came into being without a cause. That the origin or the cause of the universe, or rather the origin of the universe is simply an uncaused event. And that, I think, we have plenty of experience to say that that doesn't happen. We never see things popping into being without causes. Everything that begins to exist in experience has a cause of some sort. So I think that we have overwhelming universal experience in support of the premise that whatever begins to exist has a cause. And it doesn't require us to have some sort of experience of nothingness, which is, again, reifying this idea of nothing and making it into a thing. I've also given other arguments for the first premise, too. For example, if something could come into being uncaused, then it becomes inexplicable why just anything and everything doesn't come into being uncaused. Why doesn't Beethoven or beer or bicycles just pop into being uncaused? Why would it only be a universe that can pop into being uncaused? If things can pop into being without causes, then anything and everything ought to be popping into being without causes, because there couldn't be anything that would discriminate that only some sorts of things could come into being that way, because if it's really uncaused, if there's nothing that causes it, then just anything and everything ought to be able to pop into being uncaused. So it just wouldn't make sense to say, well, universes can do this, but not Beethoven, for example. So I think we've got every reason for affirming premise one. It is surely more plausible than it's contradictory. And I think that when atheists attack this argument by denying premise one, that just shows the intellectual desperation, I think, to which they're driven. If the price of avoiding theism is to affirm that the universe just popped into being without a cause, then I think atheism is philosophically bankrupt, because that is literally worse than magic. In magic, at least, you've got the magician, right? But on this view, it's worse than magic. There's no explanation, no cause at all for the universe popping into being.